By training the muscles that get sore on the bike doesn't work. So when I was racing, what I would do is I would train muscles in the gym or off the bike that were getting sore on the bike. So a perfect example is I was racing the Junior Nationals in Coolum, I think it was maybe 2006, 2008, and I was riding 85s. And I remember that my legs used to get really, really sore. So for this specific national, it was like 38 degrees, really hot, 15-minute motos, which was a bit longer than, I'm pretty sure at the time, that was longer than what we were riding at our state rounds and definitely longer than what we're riding at our club days. And the track was really rough. So I had a combination of a few things going on there, as well as like obviously racing with the best racers in Australia. So you're probably pushing yourself a little bit more pressure there as well. But the main thing that was happening is my legs were getting sore. My legs would get to the point where I was just like, I had to sit down over the bumps. I'm an A grade rider and I'm sitting down going over bumps, looking for smooth lines, which is not how I wanted to ride. So when I started going to the gym, what I started doing is doing exercises to target my legs. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to do these spin classes. These spin classes are 45 minutes. That's heaps of legs. And then after I'd done that, then I'd go on the leg extension machine and do leg extensions at the gym as well to try and smash the absolute crap out of my legs. And so the funny thing is, even with all of that work, even with all of that effort, I still didn't have the endurance in my legs on the bike. And the reason is for a few reasons that I've got written down here. The main reason being though, is that when you've got a muscle that's overworked when you're riding on the bike, most of the time it's not because that muscle is weak. It's because the muscles around that area, other muscle groups in your body, are not working as well as what they need to. They're not as strong as what they need to be. And so what happens is you have this muscle group that gets overworked because all of these other muscle groups are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. That muscle group has to take on more of the load, more of the work than what it's designed to take on. So a good example of this is like, so let's say for me with my legs, yes, my legs were getting sore. Why are my legs getting sore? Well, that's because my hamstrings and my glutes and my upper back and all the other muscles in my body were weak as. They were doing nothing on the bike. I didn't do any training for those. I didn't work those muscles in the gym because I was just like, oh, my legs are the problem, so I'll just do legs all the time. So it doesn't matter how strong I got my legs because I needed to get my hamstrings, my glutes, my upper back, my core, my chest, my shoulders, everything else working to take off some of the load rather than just getting my legs to do all of the work, which is why they would get so tired. The other common one that I see is like lower back, especially for enduro guys or desert racing guys. They'll have problems with their lower back getting fried. And so then they'll go to the gym and they'll do lower back strengthening exercises. But the problem is your lower back muscles are not that big. They're like long and skinny muscles that go up your back. They're not that big, they're not that powerful, they're not designed to take big heavy loads consistently. So what happens for enduro guys is they'll start off the race with no lower back fatigue and then it will come on as they keep riding. And the reason that happens is because at the start of the ride, when the rest of their muscles in their body are fresh, they use those muscles and they can utilize them and get the most out of their legs and their quads, their hamstrings, their glutes, their upper back, those other big powerhouse muscles. But once those muscles start to fatigue and break down because they don't have the endurance that they need, they haven't been trained properly off the bike, then what happens is the other muscle groups have to try and compensate. And then the lower back takes a lot of the load and the lower back is only a relatively small muscle group. So when it's taking a whole heap of load because those other muscle groups are slacking off because they don't have the endurance and they're fatiguing, then there's no amount of lower back exercises you can do that's going to alleviate the problem. Might help a little bit, but it's not going to alleviate the problem. The other common one is arm pump. So a lot of riders will get arm pump and they'll be like, all right, I need, stronger forearms. I need to do forearm strengthening exercises or roll a brick up on a string or all of that sort of stuff. And again, the problem is not the forearms. It's not that your forearms are weak, it's that the rest of your body is weak. The rest of your body is not doing its job properly and that's breaking down, which means that your arms start to do more and more and more of the work and the rest of your body does less and less and less of the work. So the solution to fix those things is making sure you're training your body as a unit. Because when you go and ride, your body doesn't work in isolation. Okay, your body doesn't work one muscle group at a time. So when you go and do, let's say you're going and doing an enduro race, when you go and do an enduro, are your forearms working on their own and the rest of your body slacking off doing nothing? No. Are your quads just doing 100% of the work and your core slacks off and your upper body slacks off and it's just completely relaxed? No. Everything from head to toe is working together. That's why riding and racing is so hard, because you've got every single muscle group from head to toe working together. I didn't understand that. I was just pinpointing. I was going, yep, that muscle's sore, I'll train it in the gym. That muscle's sore, I'll train it in the gym. That muscle's sore, I'll train it in the gym. But that's not how the body works on the bike. So to overcome these problems, you've got to train the body as one unit. Train all of the muscles together in your body as one system, exactly like they're performing on the bike. So this is where you can use exercises like back squats, deadlifts, bent over rows, overhead presses, bench press are a good start, because those exercises get your whole body working together as one unit. They recruit a lot of muscles to work together for that specific exercise or movement, which is what's happening on the bike. You never have just one or two muscle groups working at a time on the bike. You've got everything working together, which is what makes riding and racing so hard.